That would kill me, comrade.
Are we unpacking? I thought we was packing.
I do not drink super often, actually. Hello. I am recovering. Alright. We're saving here. We've restarted.
Says his muse made him do it.
Step 1.
Who's
Send
that?
Shadowheart to camp to begin the cryptocurrency scheme. Step 2. Shadowheart has all your money. Send it to Lazel. Hold on, the chat box isn't working again, right? Oh no, it is working. I see mycelium. I'm mycelium there. No, the stamp is missing still, which I may have just accidentally deleted it. Then you switch to Lazel, and you load your credit card with all the money that Shadowheart sent you.
Hide and seek stuff.
Then you talk to the trader. Testing, 1, 2,
Well,
3.
don't you cut a
I
fine
see you
figure.
there.
Want your
I'll figure it
portrait
out.
done? If you
I'll
have
do,
the gold,
I'll do it. Probably
my
as soon
pet
as I get
artist
off
will
here.
make you a most heroical likeness.
You have a pet artist?
Let's say he needs protection. And if his paintings cover our costs,
Then you add your credit
so much the
card
better,
to
eh?
your trade. Then you take whatever you want. I want his potions of invisibility, his thieves' tools, his trap disarm toolkit. I'll take Giant Breaker for fun. But what I'm really here for is the Titan String Bow. Titan weapon. This weapon deals additional damage equal to your strength modifier. It also does +1 to attack, and on base damage will do 6 to 13 damage. This is gonna go to Shadowheart. We'll also take the Rupturing Blade. And then, so we have 13,000 gold. This all costs 5,700 gold. We're just gonna trade. Give him the credit card. He's gonna run the credit card, but while he's running the credit card, Shadowheart is just gonna take it back. So you multi-select the gold inside of the backpack and send it to Shadowheart. Then you buy the backpack back for 3 gold. And you're done. And now you have everything
tell him
that
I
you
said-
want. Welcome, Cog the Cog. Thank you for being here. Today we are taking a little bit of a break and playing Gay Bomb Squad Strikes the Nuki Chat. Right now we're playing some video games. We have 4 illicit powers to pick. That'll be awesome.
Here, make your fella throw me
But
some-
we are doing an entire
You
day
got coin?
on
Yeah,
reading
fine,
about Korea
fine.
tomorrow.
But who are you? His muse.
Don't pretend
And
you
we
know
do-
what I mean.
In the mornings we do reading letters from leaders, and we're currently reading A Two-Spirit Journey by Mani Takabe. There. Excellent. So Shadowheart has the Club of Hill Giant Strength, which increases strength to 19. Shadowheart's strength is like 8 normally, so with this, her strength is 19. And the bow adds additional damage equal to your strength modifier when you use it. When do you have to pay the credit card bill? Well, that's the thing. Is Shadowheart uses the cryptocurrency scheme to make sure that the bill never shows up. There's a 1,000,000% APY, and the cashback is always. So the gold is stolen, but to make it not stolen gold, you send it back to Lazel. And now that you've transferred the gold between characters, this gold is not stolen anymore. This gold is your gold. So Shadowheart can come back. Oscar Fevris deserves this.
You need to buy me.
Sure, how much do you cost?
You were rather quick to agree, but all the wiser for it. For the return of her prize artist, tenfold as far as your...
his quest in the endgame is just
Something I can
annoying.
help you with? I doubt you've got that kind of dot. He's always...
There, we paid him. Oh, I guess I have to free him.
No, well, you should at least know what you've paid for. I am the Oscar. Assuming Lady Janeth still wishes to marry me after. Say, you couldn't. No. Until.
Bye, sir. We are done
Fish
here.
pay better than this lot.
We're going to now go steal the Sword of the Astral Plane for Lae'zel. And then we're just gonna... I think after that we're gonna go free the goblins. This is a very simple trick. But we will have to respec Shadowheart to do it. We could respec anybody. Lesbian enemies to lovers playthrough, yes. We are doing a lesbian enemies to lovers duo run. Solo, or not solo, duo honor mode, sorry. Just so used to saying solo honor mode. Duo honor mode. With Lae'zel Origin and Shadowheart as the only companion who is out of the box of friends. Gaybong. We're gonna go steal the Sword of the Astral Plane from Voss. If you could scroll up, you can see us begging them to kiss. Maybe. It might still be there. You're nowhere near her. She's not over here. Lae'zel has a unique cutscene here. Since I'm her origin companion, I'm just going to use Shadowheart to do this. But first thing that you want to do is you want to respec to a beast taming ranger.
Fate spins along.
You didn't know you needed the enemies to lover duo run? It's excellent. They're wearing matching clothes because they're girlfriends.
Or mayhap as the
Shadowheart really likes us already. It's incredible. We've done so good at making Shadowheart like us. You could pick anything here. You just want, when you can specialize, you want to be the Beast Tamer. You also can't do this until you have access to level 5, because you need your upgraded companion, like, spell. Beastmaster Ranger, you get Ranger's Companion. And then just take yourself up to level 5, it really doesn't matter. Then you leave camp. And you have one real chance to do this. Unless you save scum, which we're just gonna... If it doesn't work, we're just gonna we're just gonna say goodbye to the sword until Act 3. But, you usually have a pretty good chance of success. Obviously, like, Baldur's Gate 3, 99% fail is what it's kind of notorious for.
As I was taught.
But you want to summon your bear. Your bear companion. Look how cute he is, by the way. His little hat. Look at him when they crawl. Look at this. You ever seen a bear sneak? Look how cute he is. So there's gonna be a cutscene here, I think, where we just like see the Giths killing some
How's
people.
above? Quite literally. No,
Stop wait.
of course.
Our queen, what?
So cute.
Facing that lot would be suicide.
So cute. Do I have an invisibility spell? It doesn't look like it. I prefer a spell. But the potion will work. I have 4 potions, so I'm not, like, worried about that. Can the bear drink the potion? The bear can drink the potion. Excellent. Place the potion of invisibility on the ground or use a spell to turn them invisible. If you place the potion on the ground, your summon can drink it. So, drink the potion of invisibility. Then, walk this way towards the Gith with your invisible bear. They're very cute. The Gith will not see you. When you're here, pause time. This is Kithrak Frost. This is a revolutionary. This is a revolutionary who is trying to free his people from oppressive rule where they're used as slaves and like war slaves. W revolutionary. Anyways, we're gonna steal his sword. You use honeyed paws. Lash out with paws sticky from honey and disarm your target. If it isn't holding any weapons, it falls prone instead. Let's see if this... It's 70% with advantage. So this is what I mean about you usually have a pretty good chance to get this, but watch me not get this because I've hyped it up so much. Someone ask 8-Ball if I will get... Hold on. Someone ask 8-Ball if I will get the sword. Let's have 8-Ball ruin the... Let's see if 8-Ball will ruin the chances. Outlook good. We're still at 70 even while sneaking, so... Weapon dropped. Weapon dropped, comrades. So now, this is the fun thing. We're going to get in and get out. Shadowheart is invisible. Send in whoever else is there. That bear is gonna hold the fight. Go pick up the Sword of the Astral Plane. You will join the fight. We're going to run away, comrades. Dash. Flee combat. Do you want to flee from combat? Yes. You go to camp. You are out of combat. The bear is in combat. The bear is still here. But that's okay because Shadowheart is not a beast companion ranger. So you just dismiss the bear and you're safe. And you have the Sword of the Astral Planes really early. Let's look at this. Let's send it to Lae'zel and equip it and look at it.
It's been a long
Githborn
day.
Psionic Weapon.
Better
When
start to
wielded
rest
by a
soon.
Githyanki, this weapon deals an additional 1 to 6 psychic damage. Githborn Psionic Resistance. A Githyanki holding this weapon has advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws, resistance to psychic damage, and cannot be charmed. Weapon enchantment +3, so it's going to help counteract the bad swings that I've been having, because it's a legendary item. It does 13 to 28 damage. There's tankies in BG3. There are now. There are now. If there weren't before, we're here. We're turning on Great Weapon Master all in again. And we're also going to take our tadpoles. We're going to get favorable beginnings. Concentrated Blast. Cold a week. Get Cold a week early. And then what I'm going for is Psionic Overload. No, I want, not, sorry. Where is it? Where is it? I always lose it. It is this one. Ability Drain. Yeah, what I want is Ability Drain. Lae'zel has just eaten a bunch of gummy worms. This does not make sense from a roleplay perspective for a Githyanki, but did anyways. We also get this cool item. Oh, or ability. So now we're gonna go liberate the Goblin Camp.
I'm shooting arrows at his dwarf.
Or not the Goblin. We're gonna liberate the Emerald Grove.
Swirls his fingers.
Time to kill some goblins, comrades. The first thing we have to do is free the bear, because the box of friends is friendly. Or is lonely. So we have to free the bear and put the bear in the box of friends. Oh, we should put Will in the box of friends, huh? Let's free the bear first. That's like actually a fight. Can you believe we are opening up this part of the map right now?
The dwarf is ready yet? I'm hungry.
It's all grayed out over here where everyone is.
Duh, you're all boring.
Always place your archer wherever you want them before you start any fights.
Cape.
Helpless bear, let him go. Someone out there, someone made Rule 34 vor of Lae'zel with the tadpoles.
Something within you stirs in response.
Why would you put? Now it's true because you said it. I'm putting an end to this now. Oh, I'm not wearing the gloves. Oh no, oh yeah, that's fine. I don't need those. Those are not. I thought those were the gloves of archery, but they're not. These are the only kids you can actually kill in the game. It's really, I guess, the people at Larian really didn't think that goblins were people. I do have another attack, but I can't reach them, so I'm just gonna end my turn. Because Shadowheart can get everybody. Shadowheart has the Titan String Bow now, so let's see. 18. She's done more. She's done more. 19. Still not bad damage, of course, but she's done more damage. Oh, I forgot to respec her. She's still a beast. We have to respec her, comrade. She's the wrong kind of ranger. This fight's almost over. well now we just have the dogs. See, once again, you do a lot of prep work to sneak around fighting, and then you go back and you get... Wow. That's really impressive. To go back and do a lot of really satisfying sweeping. Also, we're cheating, of course. I can't even reach him with a super wave. Fine. See, Lae'zel only does like 8 damage with a 8 to 10 damage with a bow and arrow. Shadowheart, even as the wrong ranger, is doing over 10. Miss. The other item that we need for Shadowheart's build is in the crush area. Oh, by the way, we're with Great Weapon Master now. We're at 85% with the Sword of the Astral Plane.
Pardon the viscera. You aided either way. I owe thanks. I can. They are the be warned. If I so.
Oh. $95%. He's going in the box, comrades. Of course he is. Critical miss. Don't. Oh, I talked.
Nature's blessings.
Put the bear in the box. He's trying to heal. He's trying to heal. Got him. Got him. Got this. Got that silly bear. Come on. Encumbered. Good evening, TankTube. Welcome in, Catgirl Steph. We are adding more friends to the box of friends as we speak. There, not so lonely now. Asterion, Halson, Karlak. Let's go get Will. Oh, actually, let's make Shadowheart the correct kind of ranger. Two gay jokes in a row. Welcome to the Gay Bomb Squad. Gay Bomb Squad. The Gay Bomb Squad is striking because we have to make sure that everyone is gay.
Fate, dost thou require a new ally, as thou desire?
Alright, back to the correct kind of ranger. Ranger Knight because we get access to heavy armor. Urban Tracker because we get access to sleight of hand proficiency. Strength 8. We have a club that gives us good strength. Dexterity 17. Con 14. Wisdom 16. Athletics and stealth and perception. It's not really important, but those ones are the ones I find the most use for. And then we just level up to Gloomstalker, the best ranger, the only correct ranger. The good ranger. Take Longstrider and Hunter's Mark. Pick Archery, you gain a +2 bonus to ranged attack weapons. Then pick Ensnaring Strike and pick Gloomstalker. Gloomstalker gets an extra attack on the first round. You get better dark vision. You get a bonus action hide, which is super useful. You can turn yourself invisible, and you can disguise yourself for a spell slot. At level 4, you get a feat, and you pick Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter all in. Ranged weapon attacks with weapons you are proficient with have a -5 penalty to their attack roll, but deal an additional 10 damage. Dye her boots. Why? I think they both have red boots on. I'll dye them. Sharpshooter low ground. Your ranged weapon attacks do not receive penalties from high ground rules, so you can shoot up with no problem. Level 5, you get an extra attack and Misty Step. You pick Pass Without Trace because you get a +10 bonus to stealth checks. You are now a stealth archer. Now, what you do is you can't cast a not proficient with equipped armor. I have heavy armor proficiency. I think it's glitchy right now. Wait, maybe it's the weapon. Maybe it's the shield. Let's see, do I have shield proficiency? No, I do have shield proficiency. I should have heavy armor. I don't have heavy armor right now, but I should have heavy armor. Oh, I picked Mage Breaker on accident. Hold on, comments. Give me just a second to speed through this.
Dost thou require
I didn't
a new
realize I
ally?
changed it.
As thou desire.
Ranger Knight. I accidentally picked Mage Breaker. Heavy armor. I can do this fast. I will dye her boots. What color should I dye her boots, chat? Purple? Any other colors? The hottest of pinks, of course. Purple would probably be good. Purple would be good. We would have to probably find a hot pink. There. Then you pass without trace and you're concentrating on it. It's until long rest. But now, it makes it really easy to hide from people who can see you. And see you hiding. Well, that was a failure. But that will be useful for later on because we'll be able to start combat over and over again we'll be able to shoot from out of combat without starting combat because they won't be able to see us. Let's go steal Will. Go to the Emerald Grove environs. We have to put Will in the box of friends. Let me in. Don't worry guys, you'll be free soon. Everyone here will be free and happy. Well, except for the druids, I guess. Because Halson is dead. Where is he?
Children!
He didn't die,
Look
did
who's
he?
here.
Is he dead out there? We may have lost Will. Like, lost him. Oh no, he may be coming to camp now. We might have accidentally made it so that he has to come to camp to find us. I don't think he died. No, he didn't die out here. His body is not out here. Will is missing. Comrades. Will is missing. Okay, back to Goblin Camp.
I'm shooting arrows at this dwarf. It's great. Then this other guy twirls his fingers and some light comes at him. And the dwarf just stops bleeding.
Let's go get Minthara for the box of friends.
Bloody racket.
At least give me a sword!
That floating eye keeps watch. Best avoid it, or it may spoil the hunt.
The village to the east.
Only 31,
abandoned.
huh?
Looks that way. But scouts said they heard something moving around out there. Something bad. Get your eye off my
The
eye!
eye's glassy black surface
It is just a safe place to keep them while we continue playing our game.
We'll smoke 'em out.
Hello, why did Minthara attack? Who did Minthara attack? Precision attack. Trip attack. Now she no longer has aura protection. And she's already she's got 26 out of 67 health now. Things are going great, comrades. Things are going great. We're going to Hunter's Mark. Minthara. I missed. I missed. 80% she's on the ground. She's dead. One turned Minthara, comrades. Let's keep going. Nice. Shall we check out to see what we did just now? We did 25 slashing damage, plus 5 psychic damage, plus 2 damage. Minthara was hit for 33 slashing damage, 2 acid, and 2 psychic. As well as in one turn, so it was in one turn she was hit for 66, 70, 76, 78 damage. I'm gonna drink a speed potion so I can shoot again, because I don't want that goblin to run the other direction. Okay, well, it's gonna run the other direction. Hopefully it'll run towards me. Okay, it did run towards me. Acid vials, lower your AC.
Another parasite. Collect it. It might be
Easy,
useful.
comrades. Easy. Look at her. Hold on. What? Her face. Her face. Her expression. She's at peace. This is the most peaceful I've seen her.
I can keep
Oh,
going
I
a
need to
little
put her in the
longer
box
now.
of friends. Oh, chat, don't look at her. You're so rude. All of a sudden, the box of friends is not lonely anymore. Hello to Old for Twitch. We have so many friends. Excellent. Someone comes in right when we're checking out the box of friends every time. It's perfect timing. Welcome. This is where we're currently at with the new box of friends. We have Astarion, we have Halsin, we have Karlak, and we have Minthara. We lost Will. We don't know where Will is. He's not at camp, or he's not at the Emerald Grove. But we're currently liberating the Emerald Grove from the goblins. And we're most of the way done. But now it's time to go get explosives. And while I collect explosives, I'm gonna put on a Parenti lecture in the background. Because we're going to,
Whatever comes.
I think I'm
I'm
gonna use
ready.
Shadow because she has the wisdom. I got timed out in a Haswatch chat for suggesting that his black tie, white shirt, tan jacket was a bad setup. I'm sorry. Timed out for that. It is so funny.
Sugan al Shukok. I.
The hobgoblin. You taste the vision of the elves.
If it is
He doesn't.
you ever talk to a dead
You choke on.
So we need to get out of this
The hideous-
cutscene so that he just relaxes and lets us walk around in here.
That does not want to part from you. Your heart seizes. What if the creature noted your presence at the crash site?
Yeah, I do need wisdom. No. No, comrades. That's okay, I have 4 inspiration. Hell yeah. Only 1 inspo needed.
Ragslin's with Ragslin's voice, you ask. Ragslin, then you see you feel Ragslin's suspicion. Again, suspicion floods Ragslin's mind. You see the skull, the corpse.
No. See, she's mounting an attack. Praise the elves.
This weapon.
Alright,
this-
comrades. Let's put
Perhaps
on
it's the
a
artifact.
lecture in the background for Parenti. How long until I have 17 minutes till that? Let's put on a Parenti lecture while I set up the bombs. I'm gonna gather as many bombs as I can find. Let's see what I can do. Oh, hold on. Actually, let me go grab. In the Discord, my Celemum posted a link to a playlist of just a bunch of Parenti clips, and it's kind of like, I guess, like a dump playlist. Oh, hello, my Celemum. I'm looking for that playlist you shared. Did I pin it? No, I didn't. I did not pin it. I should have. That's alright. I'll just look up a Parenti lecture. We're gonna listen to anti-Sovietism in the media. You love the Goblin ASMR? Well, I'm gonna be setting up barrels and I have to travel around.
Thank you for braving the snow.
Parenti with us. Dr. Parenti has a PhD in political science from Yale University and is taught at numerous universities around the United States. He is the author of several books and articles. His books include Democracy for the Few and The Power and the Powerless. And his latest work, Inventing Reality, the Politics of the Mass Media, is directly relevant to his topic tonight. We are very happy to have Dr. Michael Parenti speaking on anti-Sovietism in the media, an obstacle to peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice to be here, and thank you for braving the snowstorm to get here. At least I did. I assume you did too. While American anti-communist and anti-Soviet policies have been portrayed in the media and by government as being understandable defenses against the Soviet. Did I do something wrong here? Just wanted to get this. Move it back a little bit. Just move it back. That's it. No, it's just I couldn't see half the audience with us. Okay, great. You always have to. Certain concessions to the media, always. Okay, there we go. Right. As a threat to Soviet aggrandizement, that is, that they were defensive responses to something called the Cold War, and that Cold War started in 1946 or so when Russia proved itself to be an expansionist and menacing power. That's the standard scenario. In response to that aggrandizement and that menacing, we alerted ourselves to the Soviet menace, and we educated the American public to that menace. And we reacted to it with the NATO shield, with the armaments, with interventions in various countries, the Truman Doctrine and all that stuff. Now, very recently, the American Historical Association published a set of documents that were rather intriguing, which they got out of the State Department under the Freedom of Information Act, which shows that people in the State Department never believed that the Soviets had any intention or any interest or any capability of invading Western Europe in the late 1940s or in the 50s or 60s or today, for that matter. But nevertheless, and it's a kind of mind-blowing thing for that generation of us who were raised in that post-war era and heard constantly about the Soviet menace in Europe and were treated to visions of Soviet troops marching under the Arc de Triomphe and all that sort of thing. And told that what we needed above anything else was a NATO shield. What I want to point out tonight is that anti-Sovietism began well long before what was called the Cold War and long before the Soviet Union became the kind of power it is today. It really goes back to a time before there ever was the Soviet Union. All through the 19th century, you will find that the press, joined by the pulpit, the politicians, the police, the professors, and the plutocracy, all of them propagated this picture that American life was facing a certain danger, and that was the danger of syndicalism, socialism, radicalism, anarchism, communism, all of which tended to get lumped together as one great danger to the American way of life. Any proposed departure from the capitalist social order was characterized as a departure from all order itself and a plunge into anarchy. Thus, as early as 1880, Roscoe Conkling could hail President Ulysses Grant. Roscoe Conkling was the boss who made Ulysses Grant, but anyway, he could hail him then as, quote, an eternal foe of communism, lawlessness, and disorder, lumping communism with disorder and lawlessness. So that any move toward another social order, an alternative social order, is really characterized, or rather the end of the capitalist social order, as I said, is characterized as the end of all social order. Capitalism was equated with true Americanism, while socialism was depicted as a kind of an alien virus that affected the American body politic. In fact, by the way, in the late 19th century, probably some of the most powerful socialist movements, most active movements in the world were going on in the U.S. Certainly some of the most militant worker struggles were going on, enough so to catch Marx's attention. Marx wrote to Engels, he said, what's with the American workers? It's rather unusual, rather massive strikes. Well, then came a most remarkable and most significant historical event, which changed the course of world history. And that was the Russian Revolution of 1917. The specter that had haunted Europe, the specter of communism, was now being realized, was being embodied. Here was not just a workers' rebellion, there had been many workers' rebellions and many workers' revolutions. Here was one that succeeded and took over a rather large country. And there's a remarkable correspondence that took place between Secretary of State Lansing and President Woodrow Wilson, in which Lansing wrote that the Bolsheviks are wanting in political virtue. They would preach to the common man that one could reach an elevated height by dint of political means rather than by hard work. This would be a most unfortunate, I'm paraphrasing from memory, this would be a most unfortunate example to the common man in our country and other countries. They were very much aware that this revolution that had taken place had torn the fabric of bourgeois history. There was now a different kind of social force actually taking over and commanding state power. By the way, is this being videotaped? Did you say it was? I was wondering why the cameras, I mean, I couldn't see a camera, but I see the lights blinding me. And if I'm going to suffer the lights, there better be a tape. But otherwise, shut the lights. Oh, okay. Well, there is video being made. You got all that on tape. What can you do? So from the very beginning, they saw a threat. It wasn't Stalin's divisions. It wasn't Khrushchev's missiles. Long before that, when it was a country which itself was then invaded by 14 Western capitalist countries, including the United States, to overthrow this newly instituted Soviet government, from the very beginning, the Western leaders understood that this was a threat. Not a threat to democracy, because half of them didn't have any democracies themselves, and they felt perfectly at home instituting brutal colonial rules throughout Africa, Asia, and Latin America with no concern for democracy. Not a threat to the world's stability in the sense that this was going to cause further wars, because the worst and most vicious wars were being fought among the capitalists themselves for markets and colonies and such. They were the destabilized. It was a threat to capitalism. It was a threat to that process of capital accumulation, which is the substance and mainstay of this society and every other capitalist society. It was presenting an alternative social order, one which used the land, the labor, the technology, and the capital of that society, not for the private capital accumulation process, but for social needs in a planned manner, with all its imperfections and problems, was decidedly and still is a different kind of way of organizing your political economy. A different kind of society, and the end of a capitalist class society. The propaganda war against the Red Menace then intensified soon after the Russian Revolution. I want to quote historian Robert Murray in his book, The Red Scare. Anti-Bolshevik testimony was played up in the columns of the nation's newspapers, and once again the reading public was fed on highly colored tales of free love, nationalization of women. By the way, that was a common story in the media in those days, that Lenin nationalized women. The women were put on nationalization. They became part of public ownership, and you can, I don't know exactly how that worked, but nationalization of women, bloody massacres, and brutal atrocities. Stories were circulated that the victims of the Bolshevik madmen customarily had been roasted to death in furnaces, scalded with live steam, torn to pieces on racks, or hacked to bits with axes. Newspaper editors never tired of referring to the Russian Reds as assassins and madmen, quote, quote, human scum, crime mad, and beasts. This is Murray. In the aftermath, by the way, of World War I, some rather extraordinary things were happening in the United States itself. 2 million workers were on strike, including 500,000 coal miners, 350,000 steel workers, and immediately the press began to link the domestic unrest to the Soviet menace, to, after all, delegitimate the domestic unrest, and to alarm the public with sensational headlines like, quote, Red Peril here, quote, Plan Bloody Revolution, quote, Want Washington government overturned. A special Justice Department publicity bureau was set up. Very interesting. And its function was to plant stories in newspapers about a Moscow-directed plot to overthrow the U.S. government. By the way, that process is still going on. I mean, U.S. government agencies are still planting stories, feeding them to the media about anti-communist phobias. The FBI has done that. The CIA is forbidden by law to do it, but they do. The CIA often plants the stories abroad, and by what's called a process of blowback, the story gets back into the U.S. They'll plant a story, that story they planted of Cuban troops massacring innocent people in Angola, villages in Angola, was a total CIA disinformation fabrication story planted in Western Europe, but it gets picked up in the newspapers, and then U.S. journalists and wire services pick those stories up, thinking they're from independent journalists, and we're treated to them here. So the CIA indirectly plants here. So there are people who do this all the time. There also occurred at that time a Justice Department action. Raids. The Justice Department, assisted by state and local police, hit concurrently 20 cities, hundreds of raids, arresting thousands of leftists, including many trade union militants. The key organization working at that time was a group called the Special Bureau of Investigation under a young Georgetown lawyer. In 1919, this was named J. Edgar Hoover. It was later changed to the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
All right, comrades. We have set up the gay nuke to nuke drawer. Gay nuke squad. Boom time. Boom time, comrades. We're going to use a scroll of fireball and hopefully trigger as many explosives as we can. He's dead. Comrades. He died. Oh, I didn't even turn on the sound. I'm sorry, comrades. We didn't get audio for that. I forgot to turn the audio back on. Dang. Waste of a boom. That's okay. It was still a pretty good boom. Alright, the two fights have combined. Who died? Look at the wreckage, actually. Let's go look it down here. Let me see if I can switch to... Comrades. Look at the wreckage. Drawer's right here. The throne is gone. The throne was completely destroyed. We got these two bombs. These two were barely outside. But otherwise, it would have gotten, I think, all of the goblins, to be honest. Very close to getting everybody.
There's a parasite in that corpse, brimming with potent magic.
Another one down. I'm gonna get off of here because they like to pull people off. And I really don't think they can do much to me. It's just a bunch of goblins. Forgot the quotes, just imagine. Beautiful chaos and blood, Genesis 420. All the rattling of the wood as they run through it. Critical hit. Where is that one? Oh, there he is. 2 dead. 3 dead technically because the ward got. It's just these ones. Where's the last one? Uh-oh. Oh, scanning area. I can't reach him, comrades. He has 7 health. Got him. Did 8 damage. That's all you need. We rescued the tieflings, comrades, and we didn't even let any of them die this time. None of them died.
Time to pack
Luck
it
of
in
the
for
farm
day,
realms.
I think.
Yeah, point blank execution. Sort of point blank nuclear detonation. We still have some barrels left too. What's fun is there's a bunch of smoke powder barrels up here to replace the barrels that we used. It's like they knew that a lot of people would do this and they wanted to pay us back with extra barrels to use somewhere else. There's also a bunch of smoke powder barrels over in the front, behind where Roa was. We're gonna equip Gloves of the Growling Underdog. That's probably the only thing we'll really need from here. Damon made it to Act 2 this time, comrades. So we'll get all the good stuff in Act 2 again. We'll get good stuff in Act 2 this time. It's a good thing I get all that money for my credit card debt. You're exactly right. Luckily, who's here? Who saw me? Oh, on the bridge. Pretty good. Pretty good misses. way, I guess. 36% for that one. That's fine. Emerald Grove environment. Nothing can survive. The incredible lesbian enemies to lovers duo. They're friends. They agreed to be friends. They are
Our scouts just reported.
They are
the goblins'
campmates,
leadership has
for
been
sure.
decimated. We might escape this place yet. I took a collection.
Thank you for the gold. I need it.
It's not enough. No, but perhaps we need not speak of farewells.
We'll see you there.
We'll join
This
your
is my
camp.
last chance to see Will. If you haven't collected him, maybe it's because I killed Karlach before putting him in the box of friends. Maybe he just left because Karlach died. 2 of your kids died, Mole, but it's fine. There's still a lot of kids left. We didn't save Mirkon. We didn't get the Ring of Protection. Roland is alive, so that's the bratty child is still alive. I do love him. He is a brat. The only thing left in Act 1, I think, is Hag Hair. And I want to do that at level 6. So we're gonna go on to Kresh. Which means we're gonna beat up Raphael.
You saved us. I wasn't sure we'd make it through.
Oh yeah, I need dye. Let me see your wares.
I wish I had better, but this is all I have.
I forgot about dye. No purple dye.
Make Timora's
My favorite way to go... Oh, no, we're going to Kresh. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, let's go to Kresh first. My favorite way to go to Kresh is through Watkins Rest, the way where those gits are. We're gonna have to kill the git. We got one more fight on us, comrades.
Undetected.
No, we can sneak past the gith. I'd rather have the Raphael's armor for that. Maybe. Should we try it? These are the most dangerous. This is the most dangerous fight in this act right now. You think it'll be easy? I also believe in the lesbians. This is the most dangerous one. You need to be, I think, in their sight. My goal is to, my goal is to surprise them. 98%. Surprised. I'm gonna action surge. She's at 53 out of 76. She is surprised. I'm gonna daze. Pommel strike. Miss. Precision attack again. Disarming attack melee. Nice. This time I'm just gonna disarming it. No, I'm gonna precision strike. Precision strike. It brings me up to 70%, comrades. And then I'm gonna use Soul Breaker. 26 to 41. Rends the enemy's body and soul, possibly stun them. Critical hit. She's dead. That was the most dangerous character in this fight. One turned. I'm gonna Hunter's Mark. This one that has 4 reverberation because we missed, and then got reverberation and took thunder damage. There's a chance there that she could have fallen down. They could have chosen to fight, but didn't fight. They just said stand and fight, and decided not to do anything. Dead. And we also get Great Weapon Master extra attack. Not bad. They missed the arrow because I was on the ground. Tripped me with an arrow. They're almost dead. This is an easy fight. W. Lazel, strong sword. Dead. Also dead.
Their corpses may have something of use.
Good job, everyone. Shall we go beat up, Raphael as a reward? We're gonna need a hireling for this one. I'm not gonna respec Shadowheart. Oh, I think I missed. I did. I missed an ad. I'm sorry, comrades. Raphael is here. Let's get a hireling. You need a...
We meet. I shall be here in my camp.
I would like to talk about hirelings.
Very well.
You need a cleric.
Choose.
It's this one. I think what I'm gonna do is get Raphael. I'm coming up with a plan for the rest of the stream. Get Raphael. We went through Act 1. We're gonna move on. I think what I'm gonna do is go shopping. We'll listen to more once I start Raphael. We'll go through and do the shopping thing, and we'll listen to some more Parenti. And then once I get to Last Light Inn, and can save there and we've opened up waypoints through Act 2. That's where I'll sign off for the day. So not a whole lot left. So let's start beating up Raphael, and I'll put the Parenti lecture back on. We have silence. Excellent. This is very simple, comrades. You don't even need to go past level 3. I knew that was coming when I saw But First. Okay, comrades, that's actually a great point. I do feel like I want a little break. I also want to make a cup of coffee, so what I'm gonna do is silence Raphael first, and then go hold. And I'm gonna take a break while the Parenti lecture starts to play. Actually, let's do the one that I always do while I do that. Get it set up.
But that expropriation of the third world has been going on for 400 years, brings us to another revelation, namely that the third world is not poor. You don't go to poor countries to make money. There are very few poor countries in this world. Most countries are rich. The Philippines are rich. Brazil is rich. Mexico is rich. Chile is rich. Only the people are poor. But there's billions to be made there, to be carved out and to be taken. There's been billions for 400 years. The capitalist European and North American powers have carved out and taken the timber, the flax, the hemp, the cocoa, the rum, the tin, the copper, the iron, the rubber, the bauxite, the slaves, and the cheap labor. They have taken out of these countries. These countries are not underdeveloped, they're overexploited.
They sure are. Alright, comments, I'm gonna play this lecture, take my break while I'm off screen, I'll pop back on, and I'm just gonna beat up this man until I can take his armor.
Investigation. But as early as 1919, Hoover was doing this sort of thing. He had quite a long career. To these raids, in which hundreds of people were deported without any due process, thousands were thrown in jail without any due process, the New York Times hailed the Palmer raids with this headline: Reds plotted countrywide strike, arrests exceed 5,000. The Philadelphia Public Ledger greeted the Boston police strike, which occurred soon after that. Bolshevism in the United States is no longer a specter, meaning it was a reality. And the Wall Street Journal headline screamed, Lenin and Trotsky are on their way. Now, there was a nightmare. There was something very frightening happening. But the nightmare wasn't revolution, it was reaction, and it was a real one. And the job was done. Under the Palmer raids, under the combined force of industry, government, and press, the major strikes were broken. Wages were driven down, the open shop was restored, and the ranks of the unions were decimated. And profit levels were secured.
You're unable to speak.
The government industry press campaign against the Red Menace continued all through the 1920s into the 1930s and intensified in about 1936, 37, 38. Again, as the struggles of the CIO and industrial workers intensified, so then did the red baiting hysteria about Moscow-directed plots, about Reds infiltrating our institutions and our life, and that sort of thing. At the same time, by the way, this contrasted very sharply the media's treatment of the Bolshevik menace at home and abroad, contrasted very sharply with their treatment of Mussolini and Hitler, both of whom were treated rather positively. Mussolini in the 20s absolutely gushingly, a strong man who would shape Italy up, get the trains running on time, and put things in order. A fascist who was a solid patriot, who would get rid of the forces of disorder and anarchy, roll back the Red Menace, and that sort of thing, which is why he was treated so nicely. Hitler was a man who had ideas full of a lot of bluster and shouting, but really not as mean as he sounded. His anti-Semitism was mostly for display. there was a whole give Adolf a chance school that arose in American journalism at that time. Give Adolf a chance, he'll do okay. What Hitler and Mussolini did when they came into power, and by the way, I document that more fully in my book, Inventing Reality. I have about a page on that. I don't want to go into it now. What they did when they came into power, one of the untouched subjects in modern American scholarship on fascism, the obsession today is who supported Hitler, who gave the support, who was behind them, and what never seems to be dealt with, the key question, is what did they do when they came into power? What interests did they support? And what they both did, what both Hitler and Mussolini did when they came into power, was abolish all independent trade unions, smash all opposition newspapers, throw political opponents into jail, round up and murder large numbers of them, cut wages by 1/3 to 1/2, increase investments in military spending dramatically, increase cartel profits, cut inheritance taxes for the rich, cut taxes for the rich. In Italy, child labor was reintroduced, and roll back a number of other protections and democratic gains which labor had won, such as Social Security insurance, occupational safety laws, and abuses which the Italians had thought they had eliminated over a generation before returned to the work site. So fascism was a very regressive and costly thing for the working class and was not supported by that working class. The business-owned press, therefore, not surprisingly, while denouncing the Soviet Union as a menace to civilization and all that was right, manifested an open admiration for fascist Italy and a kind of cool and rather warm tolerance for giving Adolf a chance in Nazi Germany. After a while, as both of these countries showed themselves to be aggressors against Western capitalist interests, after a while, then opinions began to get.
It goes so much faster when you're playing an optimized character whose build comes on before level like 7. We have the Helldusk armor, comrades. Helldusk armor, legendary heavy armor. Helldusk armor, you are considered proficient with this armor while wearing it. Infernal Retribution. When you succeed a saving throw, the caster receives burning for 3 turns. Prime Aegis of Fire. You have resistance to fire damage and cannot be burned. You take 3 less damage from all sources. And then you also get to cast Fly. So, this helped us, essentially, get to this. W. Turn that back on. Put that there. We put these in camp. Put all this in camp. Now, all you have to do is turn off your silence by turning the master volume back up to 30. No, by ending your concentration. And then, now that he's no longer silenced, you can talk to him.
Well met. I am Raphael. Very much at yours. What? Come.
So we only care about getting the camp supplies out of this cutscene. Now we've got the armor.
There, middle of somewhere. Go. It's
ignore him and fill your plate. Gets you camp supplies, and then you just sort of get out of here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna leave this cleric here, because who knows? Maybe we'll use a camp cleric now and then.
This vessel is at thy disposal. Do what thou art the master.
All right, comrades. My only goal really is to get into the creche, and then start shopping, and then run to Last Light Inn. If I get into a fight, I will stop the Parenti lecture. But otherwise, I'm just gonna keep playing the Parenti lecture. Let me know if you need anything.
A little more negative in the press toward them after Mussolini's invasion of Ethiopia, and Hitler's threats directed toward the West. But to the very end, don't forget, Western diplomats were never unkind to Hitler, even after they got into a war with him. There was what was called the Droll War, or the Sitzkrieg, instead of the Blitzkrieg it was called. That is the Sitz struggle, no fighting. There was very little fighting, because what they still expected, what they still wanted, was for Hitler to move east and to attack the Soviet Union, which indeed he did, and which indeed became the major focus of World War II. 7 out of every 10 German soldiers who were killed in World War II were killed fighting on the Eastern Front. The Soviets alone had over twice the number of divisions committed to that war than all the Western Allies put together. The major fighting was there, and the victory was pretty much won in the East. It was not, if you recall, until June of 44 that the Normandy invasion took place. And the war ended in July or May of 45. So the European battles really were less than a year. The anti-Sovietism then that we saw in the press continued throughout the 1950s and 60s. Very strong in the late 40s, by the way, when the Cold War, again, very much like in 1919, 1920, when the Cold War was heated up in 1947-48, you also had a full-scale attack on the CIO and a red-baiting attack of the CIO, and Taft-Hartley was passed, and the stipulation of Taft-Hartley was that Reds in the unions had to be purged. And the CIO, to demonstrate its anti-communist credentials, purged some 4 million of its own unions, membership, unions which amounted to a membership of about 4 million, kicked them out of its own unions, and turned to the bosses and said, see, we've done that. We're now free of the communist-dominated unions. And in fact, there were unions that had communist leadership. You have to say communist-dominated. The impression is of some kind of coercion. What was meant was that communists worked and organized and fought very hard in those unions and brought unionization to workshops in very tough situations and bettered the work conditions of workers in those unions. Those unions were kicked out because the people in the CIA thought that the reason the bosses didn't like them was because they were communists in the unions. And once they got rid of the communists, then we would all be friends. And once they got rid of the communists, then the bosses really stuck it to them with Taft-Hartley and began busting their shops. Because it wasn't that they were communists that was offensive, it's that they were unions. And those unions were cutting into their profits. Those unions were taking a larger portion of the wealth that the worker created and giving it back to the worker. And that means less for the guys at top, less for the Mellons, the Morgans, the DuPonts, and the Rockefellers. And to this day, you better remember that it's not whether you're a communist or not, it's whether or not you take any stance that's in a progressive direction which threatens the prerogatives of capital. And if you turn and you say, we've purged ourselves of the Reds, that's great. What you've done is you've done your enemy's work. You've cast out people who are fighting the same cause as you, and you've weakened yourself. And once the CIO did that, the CIO never recovered. In 1947, 35% of the workforce in this country was unionized. Today, it's down to 18%. After they purged their unions and amputated themselves to please the bosses and prove their anti-communism and maintain their credibility, you see, as good Americans, they really got it stuck to them, and they have never recovered that momentum and that power that they had from the 1930s to the early 40s. All of this was hailed in the press as a great victory for Americanism. During the brief period of détente, 10 years, not such a brief period, the press's treatment of the Soviet Union was mollified, and generally, the anti-Sovietism never disappeared. Portrayals of life in the Soviet Union always continued to be portrayals of drabness, dreariness, joyless, people manacled to a system that they did not want, restive, oppressed populations. Monochromatic totalitarian, not pluralistic like us. By the way, pluralistic America looks like it's voting for English as an official language. Totalitarian Russia publishes books in about 120 languages. There are about 16 official languages. There's one nationwide language, which is Russian, which is used everywhere. But you go to Soviet Azerbaijani, and you could see street signs in Azerbaijani. You could see films in Azerbaijani. You go to Georgia. The Georgian film industry is, it turns out hundreds of films a year. You can see television in your native languages. You have
my fun things is that you can big jump in and get that door to open up right away and not have to do all the weird stuff. So let's see. You're gonna go invisible. Oh, they're turning the other way anyways.
So the Gith are at
Turn
odds with the
invisible,
Absolute
so
as
remember,
well.
always put your
See how
archer
they win
where
Within
you
the
want
artifact
them.
of feeling stirs
Foolish istic. There is only one
uncertainty.
God, and she does not answer prayers.
Your curiosity is getting the better of you.
Best hope
Do
the
not let
captain's
it.
walls have enough kibble.
Stay away from the Githyanki. They're hunting you.
I
They
have
want
a,
the
I do have a
artifact.
pushing attack.
They'll stop at nothing to take it
Pushing
from
attack.
We shall
That's
see
fine.
how well your faith persists.
Especially when Savage Pet uses you as jungling targets practice.
And turn. Switch to Lae'zel. Oh, damn. Knocked out, huh? Turned it off. Where's my regular? There it is. I don't have movement. That's okay. I'll shoot. Miss on Shadowheart. Second miss on Shadowheart. Jump within range. Yeah, why not? Forced crit. No, they missed Shadowheart. Oh. W. Because we pushed them and it failed, they got a hidden condition, and then the reverberation from the ring made, or from the boots of Stormy Clamor, made them fall down. Lae'zel's got great AC right now. Lae'zel's AC is 21. They have to roll over 21 to hit. I'm gonna take a position strike. Just to kill. Oh, parried. Nice parry. Parry it! Parry it! Dead. Great, now we can go in. That's like a fast way-ish, if you feel confident enough to fight 2 Gith, to get into the creche. You can also skip that and walk down the other way. There's a back door, you can just walk down to it. But this way gets you like a little bit of XP just from walking up right now. And then you can, if you're Lae'zel or you have a disguised self, you can just walk in.
Halt! We were not expecting visitors, kin. What brings you here?
I'm gonna say, Rasteel, listen, I'm infected by Gake. Your mandate is to aid me.
You are infected. A Gake thrall is something to eradicate, not reason with.
Oh shoot. I have a +5. 19 W. Oop.
The Gustiel has... Fine.
Great. 300 XP. We are almost level 6. We're 92 points away. I'm gonna put Parenti back on and go shopping, but we are gonna level up at some point, probably.
Poetry, culture, art, theater in your native languages, including Yiddish, by the way. There's Yiddish theater and Yiddish literature in the Soviet Union. You tell me where there's Yiddish theater and Yiddish literature in the U.S. Few places in Brooklyn, Flatbush maybe, and that's about it. It's died. Well, when 6 million American Jews assimilate and no longer speak Yiddish, this is called a victory for assimilation and Americanization, and is so hailed. When 2.5 million Soviet Jews assimilate and less of them speak Yiddish, this is called the crushing and the death of Yiddish culture. In fact, Yiddish culture and even Hebrew culture is more alive in the Soviet Union than it is in pluralistic America. In pluralistic America, we're told, why don't you learn to speak English?
I don't know.
If you're here, you should all speak English. All the signs will be in English. If you really carried that, I wondered how far you could carry that. A sushi bar would have to be called a fish and rice bar, wouldn't it? It's a foreign Japanese word. Taco would have to be called something else.
The filth of these people.
Beef and crust pie or something. And pizza is not an English word. Pizza will have to be changed to tomato pie. But it looks like in California, all the Spanish signs will be taken down and English will be safe and saved. In pluralistic, diverse America, where we have a cultural diversity and freedom. That, by the way, I think points out something. That what the function of our portrayals of Soviet society has been is to be kind of like an inverted mirror image of our own problems. As the U.S. economy in the 70s sank deeper into stagflation, stories began to appear about worsening economic conditions endured by the Soviets. The message was, no matter how bad we have it, they have it even worse. In fact, Jack Anderson said that in his column. We may have it bad, but they have it even worse. And it was a column on inflation. As inflation reached double-digit levels in the U.S., stories about inflation in the Soviet Union began to appear in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, U.S. News and World Report. A closer reading of these inflation stories, which the average reader doesn't give, but if you're writing a book on the media, you give them a closer reading, as I did, revealed to me that, and you'd have to get down to paragraph 13 or 14, that basic necessities in the Soviet Union, such as food, rent, transportation, medical care, and education, were strictly price-controlled and subsidized by the state and had not at all been subject to any kind of inflation. What was the inflation? Generally, it was on luxury articles like automobiles, caviar, vodka, expensive clothes, and things of that sort. In September '81, the New York Daily News ran a story, headline, "Soviet Prices Soaring." That was the headline, with a subheading that read, "Gas, booze, cost comrades a pretty kopeck." Love that. Hey, I love that kind of journalism. That's what you call your upbeat. Only in the last two paragraphs of that report do we discover that prices were actually lowered or held steady on most essentials, including food. The price of bread in the Soviet Union has not changed since 1928. The price of riding on the subway in the Soviet Union in Moscow is still 7 cents or 5 kopecks. And it's quite a ride if you ever go to the USSR. I took it, except I was too terrorized I couldn't read the signs. One, they learned to write. What was that? Steve Martin said when his trip to Paris, he said, "We go all the way to Paris. You'd think they'd have the decency to speak English to us." But we still hear, by the way, stories about the troubled Soviet economy. The Washington Post writes that The Soviets are suffering, quote, production difficulties in the oil industry, and the Kremlin is trying to prepare the population for a period of uncertainty and difficulty. In fact, heavy industry production in the Soviet Union has been doing well. Production growth is no longer going 11, 12%. It's down to more like 4 or 5%. But you see, there's another remarkable thing. Last year, that economic recovery we had in this country was a remarkable economic recovery, because I picked up the New York Times financial page and it said 1% growth. Recovery slow. I said, I'll say slow. 1% growth is recession. 1% growth is a slow, and it said, but steady and hopeful recovery. So when the U.S. economy has a 1% growth, that's a slow but steady recovery. When the Soviet economy drops from 9 and 10% down to 4%, this is called a crash and a failure of the economy. Again, you see, the facts do not really speak for themselves. It depends on how they are framed. Wages of Soviet miners and payment to pensioners were recently increased. Wages in general have climbed 41%, real wages, since 1970, along with benefits for maternity leave, aid to large families. None of the media have seen fit to publicize these facts. Likewise, none of the news media have publicized.
Last time I used this ring to cast light on a weapon, it only lasted for 20 turns, and this time it's lasting until long rest, which is what I'm used to. And I just find it funny. I was very confused why it only lasted for 20 turns last time.
Skvar! What is this ghastly place? I'm not sure I want to step in there.
Those shadows. There's power coursing through them. Oddly familiar. Better stay on alert.
I know the dark of world space, but I've never known it dark like this.
Very near. Actually, I'm going to leave this on. We're very near to a fight. It's not far from here at all. And that fight will be essentially the last fight before we go off her. May Pookie get her the night orchid? Okay, we'll make sure to get her the night orchid. We'll pick it up.
I can feel the shadow's power here, but they don't seem to be harming me. The shadow curse. It doesn't seem to affect me like it does others. Not as badly, at least. Do you know what this means? I must be blessed. Lady Shah is protecting me where others are left to face her wrath. She loves me. She must do.
She loves you. Shar is capable of love, right? Is Shar capable of love, comrades?
Lady Shah wouldn't bless me like this for no reason.
Girl,
There must
no.
be something she wants of me. Those signs we found about Dark Justiciars. Perhaps they were no coincidence. In either case, I need to watch for any place dedicated to Lady Shah. A temple, perhaps.
A temple, perhaps. Place your archer first. Always place your archer first. Sometimes it's even helpful to crouch your archer. And you can rechange.
Dark Lady shields me. I can feel her.
You can change where she goes. Shadowheart's protected by Shar.
Stay together. Stop! Who's there? I'll be the judge of that. Jonas!
R.I.P. to this guy.
Jonas?
I think all of these... We ran away last time. We ran away from this fight last time. Everyone died. Videos of Maduro dancing. Yeah, see, look. Not in the combat yet. There's a lot happening down there, comrades. looks like everyone's alive still. Free him for real. I wanna see if I can find like new information about his trial, but quote unquote trial, his fate, his like obviously sham of a trial, right? I want to see if I can find more information about it for one of the other news streams, so we can get updated and have more information disseminated about it. Kangaroo court trial, exactly that. I'm just gonna go hit him. I have 99% chance to hit. One down. We should have an extra bonus attack. Look at that. 2 dead already, comrades. Isn't it nice being optimized? I'll save that. If I were close by, I could use my new offhand weapon to do offhand damage. Oh yeah, we've already tainted Smash. Smash can't do it themselves, but is enjoying the evil runs. You have to invent the reality for all the evil you get up to. The only good person in this game is probably Karlach. I just want to reiterate. That's probably the only good person in this game. Pay no mind to the fact that Karlach is in the box of friends. Everyone else, it's really not evil. Scratch. He's a snitch. Of course they know. Of course they know where the shadows are. They're computers. Damn. 1 down. 2 down. If you count the first one. But you can't save him. Can I reach? No. Okay, great.
Well done.
Shadowheart is level 6 now.
Now we've got to move. Keep your torch high. That's right. If you Harpers, move out.
The boys are dead. Harpers, it's just the one. Lysandra, a little bit awkward, to be honest. Everyone else is dead. Sweet potato and avocado rolls. Oh, no, oh yes, so vegetarian sushi. My favorite vegetarian sushi is actually, or my favorite sushi roll that I can get in here in County is actually a vegetarian sushi roll. It might be vegan, but I can guarantee it's vegetarian. But it has steamed pumpkin, diced steamed pumpkin. It is so good. I get it every time. You can get it at Sushi Hana in Sebastopol. It's called the Harvest Roll. It's my favorite. It's diced steamed pumpkin in the roll.
She's with me.
And it has like a sweet sauce on top. It's delicious.
Jahira.
I spy a friend. Here we are, comrades. We are at the last slide in. Pumpkin's delicious outside. I like one of my favorite things to make in the fall is a pumpkin soup. I like a spicy pumpkin soup, which is like a pureed squash, like roasted soup, essentially. It's delicious. Alright, comrades, we've made it to last light in, which means that it's time to sign off for the day. We're done with Overtime Gaming. I really only needed to do this so I could re-record the Lenin letter that I read yesterday. We now have Lenin and Ho Chi Minh letters that we read that are going to be posted on YouTube, and I'll post them in the Gay Bomb Squad channel when they're up for audiobook availability. And we can propagate them and spread them around or listen to them in the background of things. But thank you for joining me. We liberated Act 1. We just have to go back after we gather some more gear. We go back and steal the hag hair, and then we're done in Act 1, because there's like nothing left there other than the hag. So, thanks for hanging out with me, comrades. Shall we see if there's anyone around to raid? Who's available to raid? Let's look.
Yeah. There's more where that came from.
W stream, W streamer, W community. Thank you, Mycelimum. And everyone say W Mycelimum for the song for the Letters from Leaders segment. Everyone say thank you to Mycelimum, please. Mycelimum is a representative for Unsettling Empire in the Discord for TankTube, our network of creators. Go ahead and join the TankTube Discord. And it looks like the only one who I'm following who is online is Street Cats. Street Cat Love. So let's go visit Street Cat Love. I'm probably just gonna hop off after I raid. Thanks for joining me, comrades. I'll see you later, and I'll see you in the Discord. Show Street Cat Love your love. We're not good. Maybe we shouldn't nuke the cats. Maybe we shouldn't bomb the cats. But say whatever you would like to. Alright, comrades. Thanks for hanging out. Have a great day.